this week's episode of Roundabout U, we will get you up to date on all the events for Black History Month.
We'll go to the Curris Center to meet some racers in action.
Grab your cowboy hats, we're headed to the Bull Blowout.
Finally, we join Murray State President Bob Davies for a cup of hot coffee. I'm Brianna Sill.
And I'm Shelby Sisson. Welcome to Roundabout U. The Murray State Student Government Association held Racers in Action at the Curris Center to encourage their fellow students to become more involved.
Racers in Action helps students prepare for upcoming elections and encourage them to send letters to their state leaders, as well as registering to vote.
So if students are residents in Kentucky and they live, let's say they live in Davies County and they're coming to school here at Murray State University, they're really here, about 8 or 9 months out of the year. So a lot of students don't realize that when they're registered in Davies County or wherever it may be in Kentucky, that doesn't transfer over here to Murray without them doing something. So we have a really simple, it's the same card you filled out when you turned 18 at the courthouse, and you'll just do an address update on it. So you'll go through really simple, you'll fill out all the demographical information, then we'll take that over to the courthouse and we'll get it switched, and then hopefully they'll be geared up to vote in the next election right here in Murray so they don't have to drive home.
Voting was an important part of the event, and organizers took every opportunity to encourage students to exercise their right to vote.
You look around the world and there's quite a few democracies, but not nearly as many as there are not democracies. And it's really it's a blessing, and really, it's just, you should just take advantage of it because you can, because you have that right. You're an informed individual, or you can be if you wanted to be, about who to vote for. Not everybody can say that, and so you should really be aware that it's a truly great thing.
Voting wasn't the only concern at the event, though. Kentucky funding of higher education was also a big topic of conversation. Students discussed the consequences of any change to the school budget.
People need to go to school. People need an education, especially with the jobs today. And I think cutting, our budget would decrease retention among students who are already here, and it would decrease the students who think they would like to come here because they can't afford it.
To encourage representatives, students could sign letters to send in to Kentucky leadership, urging them to support higher education and students like themselves.
2007, really, our state funding has gone down significantly, nearly 20%, while enrollment has increased significantly, around 8%. So we're just hoping that this year will be the year that Kentucky chooses to restore higher education funding, and we think that we have a great group of students here that can help get that voice out there and hopefully get our money restored to our universities. We realize the legislators have a tough session ahead of them, but we are really optimistic for what can be done.
And it is that optimism that leads students like Clint to help organize events like Racers in Action. The event brought student attention to several issues that need to be addressed, and students walked away a little more informed on the issues important to them.
Apparently, we need the funding to continue to run programs, to continue to be a great school. And that goes for all the schools in Kentucky. You need funding. Every school needs funding. And for legislators to say, oh, we want kids to go to school, we want them to get an education, well, they need to invest in the education.
Organizers were glad to see the impact they had on attendees. Racers in Action will be back in the Curris Center on February 8th and February 24th.
The campus community may interact with Murray State President Bob Davies through Facebook and Twitter, but might not always have the chance to talk to him in person. A new campus event, Post with the Prez, gives everyone a chance to meet with Dr. Davies face to face. It is no secret that social media is changing the way everyone interacts with each other. At Murray State, social media is a tool keeping the campus community informed, updated, and aware of all things Murray State.
The ability to post information, the ability to have conversations through social media, the ability to share information, to gain feedback and those type of things. And so that whole idea of social media bringing people together has been very, very influential and has changed the way that a lot of leaders think and work.
It makes the entire institution of the school very personal. So, you know, everybody knows that President Davies likes to take selfies with people, but it just makes him very, very approachable. And it's something that I have never seen from a president of my university back home. And honestly, if he were not by chance my neighbor, I would have no idea what he looks like, you know, what he does, what he cares about. So this is a great addition to student life.
Even though social media is a great addition to student life, it is still important to have one-on-one interactions. Dr. Davies believes events like Post with the Prez help facilitate these interactions.
And I think that the social media aspect allows for the sharing of ideas and those type of things, but to really get to know an individual, to really have the in-depth conversations, having events like this that are based off of social media, and that's the way, I mean, that's how they kind of started out, but getting to know the individuals and having that dialogue one-on-one. Nothing replaces looking someone eyeball to eyeball, seeing the body language, and really having those in-depth conversations. And understanding the pressure, in this case with our students, understanding some of the pressures, concerns that they have, as well as the things that they thoroughly enjoy about Murray State University.
You don't necessarily want to put every topic out there into the internet. Not every topic is meant to be discussed by everyone. They might just be too personal, and therefore you're always going to need the one-on-one conversations.
The most recent Post with the Prez featured engaging conversations between both Dr. Davies and students. Students were able to discuss a wide array of topics, from coursework to campus life, and were able to grab a photo with the president.
Well, one of the things that we were just talking about was the ability for certain majors to go on study abroad trips and how the class schedules and the course schedules throughout the individual's time here at Murray State in some classes really enable that to occur. In other ones, it's limiting factors. And so how we think about it as a university, where we believe in study abroad, where we believe in the engagement through international exchanges and whatnot, how we might want to be thinking about some of those opportunities that are limiting and or expanding.
We spoke about this topic for a while, and he just added, his few thoughts, and it seemed like, he's actually putting a lot of heart into it, that he might sit down and look for a solution.
The next chance to post with the Prez will be February 10th from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Curris Center Rocking Chair Lounge. While Post with the Prez is new this semester, Coffee with Bob and the President's Council is already a familiar event on campus. Starting last semester, Coffee with Bob and the President's Council invites the campus community to come and have conversations with Dr. Davies and the President's Council over a free cup of hot coffee. While it is easy to get in contact with the President through the internet, the event, like Post with the Prez, allows for one-on-one, in-depth conversations. The goal is to continue to build Murray State's sense of community and extend that community to others. The first Coffee with Bob of the spring semester was held inside Waterfield Library. Be sure to mark your calendars for the next one. Coffee with Bob and the President's Council will happen again on February 22nd at Wells Hall, inside of the President's office.
Murray State University's Cherry Expo Center will host the 2016 Bull Blowout February 12th and 13th. The rodeo event will feature about 100 local and national riders each night who will take on fierce and powerful bulls. Along with bull riding, there will be barrel racing, mutton busting, and a calf scramble. To tell us more about the Bull Blowout is Penny Parsons. Welcome, Penny.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
Well, we're glad to have you. So first off, can you tell me a little bit about what to expect at the Bull Blowout?
Well, first of all, you're going to expect a lot of action because we have the bull riding and the barrel racing, which is two of the probably most popular events of rodeo. And of course, we have the mutton busting calf scramble for the little kids, and that's a big draw. And we have a funny man coming in, Greg Stump Reynolds, and he's there to surely entertain everybody.
So, who participates in the Bull Blowout?
Well, we have a lot of local people in Murray State. Rodeo contestants will be there also. And we have some national people that will come in from, the surrounding states to compete.
So how do the Murray State students and people from Murray, prepare for something like this?
Well, a lot of them already participate on the rodeo team, and then others participate in local saddle clubs and things like that. So they have had the experience of rodeos already, so they will just sign up for ours.
Yeah. So what's the prize? What are they aiming to get?
They ride for money in both bull riding and barrel racing.
Can you tell me a little bit about your job and what you do to prepare for this event?
Well, my job is a promoter and producer, and right now I'm doing all the promoting for the event and make sure that the word gets out, and then produce the actual show the 2 nights of the event, make sure everything runs smoothly to have a good show for the audience.
So what goes in, do you think, a good show?
Well, first of all, we do not want one that takes a lot of time. We want to run from one event to the next smoothly, and we want to make sure we have the entertainment there with our funny man, and we want everyone to be on post, be ready to go.
So what's your favorite event at the Bull Blowout?
Well, bull riding, I guess, because I own bulls, and I have pride in my bulls, so I like the bull riding. Now, mutton busting is pretty funny, too.
What is mutton busting?
The little kids ride sheep, and they hang on to the sheep. They either hug them or they bring their own little sheep rope, and they ride them, so that's pretty funny, too. So I favor that one also.
So why do you think people should come out and see this?
Well, for entertainment, of course. Rodeo is an American sport. It's been here for years and years, and it's back to American roots. And so I think it's a lot of entertainment involved in it.
Why do you think people of Murray, cling to the rodeo culture so much? Why do you think it's such a big deal here?
Well, we're a rural community to start with, and a lot of people around here have the livestock that we use in rodeos, so they enjoy seeing the performance of their livestock.
Can you tell me again when and where the event's going to be?
It's going to be at the William Bill Cherry Expo Center here on Murray State campus. It's going to be February the 12th and 13th. Show starts at 8 each night. Mutton busting starts at 7:30, and we open the doors at 6 o'clock. And we'll have a lot of stuff going on at 6 o'clock, like vendors will be there. And of course, we'll have people practicing in the arena with their horses and stuff. So if they come early, they'll still get to see a lot of stuff and do a lot of stuff.
And how much does it cost to get in?
The adults are $14, and MSU students with ID will be $12, and then children 12 and under is just $5.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to your event.
Farmers in the area had the opportunity to come to Murray State University to learn from a record-winning corn and soybean producer. The 12th annual Soybean Promotion Day also gave farmers the confidence to tell their story and fight for their livelihood. This year, Soybean Promotion Day creates another tool in the toolbox for over 200 farmers in the region. Farmers come looking to advocate for their profession and ways to increase production and marketing.
Telling a positive story about agriculture and getting on the cutting edge of production. There's 2 ways to influence the bottom line. You can raise production, or you can sell it for more, or you can cut expenses. And we hope to maybe address all of those things through the sessions.
Kentucky Soybean Board partners in this event with Murray State University Hudson School of Agriculture to reach out to the region about their production. Over 75% of attendees are Murray State's alumni or have an association with the university.
Just appreciate the opportunity to be here at Murray State and to host this event and see so many of our alumni and friends that across this region that come back. I try to make the rounds and meet every one of them, and I'd say probably got some association, or they got a son or daughter here, or they're an alumni, or they know somebody that is. We're a regional university. We've reached out. We're trying to reach the region, and we're doing it through events like this.
One of the keynote speakers at this year's Soybean Promotion Day was Randy Dowdy, a first-generation farmer. His focus was on paying it forward by helping others increase their production. Dowdy has a production guide that has been used in several states with proven positive results. The other keynote speakers were Troy and Stacy Heydrich. Troy is a 4th-generation farmer from north-central South Dakota. Heydrich and his wife Stacy travel around the country sharing their story about farming in hopes to encourage other farmers to do the same.
How do we go out and connect with people? Like what I talked about before, there's a lot of different ways. You can do it in social media, or you can do it on a big grand scale, maybe in Washington, D.C., or do we need to be at our local coffee shops and talking to those folks? And the answer is yes, we need to be all those places. And so some people in agriculture, we're fairly humble by nature, but we've got to kind of go out and brag about what we do.
Farmers at Soybean Promotion Day have that chance to network and share their stories with each other. Some even traveled over 2 hours away for this seminar.
Central City, south of Owensboro area. And I even know some farmers that's coming from a lot further than that. So I'm here to really talk to other farmers and see what issues are with them, and also to learn. One of the biggest tricks to being an advocate for anything is staying motivated. And I really think Stacy and Troy would be excellent at that.
Kentucky Soybean Promotion Board has been a terrific sponsor of Murray State Hudson School of Ag and of this event. Several years ago, we had an idea that we just wanted to reach out to soybean farmers and agribusiness people in the region. And we're a regional university. We're here to serve the region. And they're here to help us do that, to promote a positive aspect about soybeans and their importance to this region, but also the importance of agriculture to our region too.
Murray State University has a multitude of activities planned for February to celebrate Black History Month, as well as a couple of events extending into March and April. With this being the 60th year of desegregation on Murray State's campus, it's a good time for people to learn about Black culture, the civil rights movement, and what is currently happening in the Black community. Here to tell us some of the events going on is S.G. Carthel, Senior Director of Diversity Initiatives. S.G., welcome to Roundabout U.
Glad to be here.
So first off, there's a bunch of activities and events happening. Can you give us some highlights of those?
Sure. We have, we had our MLK Day of Service and keynote, and that was really great. And we had a lot of students and faculty and staff, community members come and donate a lot of things for our United Way agencies. We also had a great speaker and a breakfast that kind of kicked things off. After that, we have on the 8th, we have the presidential lecture series, and we're really excited about that because that's Martin Luther King III is going to be here and share with us on campus. Then we have a number of events through the semester, but we kind of end that up with our racial legacies and learning, how to talk about race. We had our first symposium last year, and it was a really great success. So because of the 60th anniversary, we decided to include that again this year and further that discussion. So that's going to be happening on April the 1st, and we'll end that with our Diversity Achievement Awards by recognizing a lot of folks here for the things that they're doing for diversity.
So with this being the 60th year of desegregation on Murray State's campus, do you think that this year's Black History Month is going to have any extra significance to anybody on campus?
I think it's always, we celebrate kind of diversity, so it's kind of like every month there's probably something going on in somebody's culture that was significant that happened, particularly for Black History Month. This year we have the 60th, so I think people will reflect on that. It was 6 decades ago when we had our first African American student on campus. It's also the last year of our president, President Obama, so this is his last year. So a lot of people, were here, students, when he got elected, as far as they can remember those things, they can remember if they're in graduate school or where everybody knows where they were during that time. So this is a time we'll reflect on that. And also, I think throughout all of our communities, we began to think about where we want to go.
And so how can people get involved with this event?
Well, there's a number of ways. One, by coming and just attending. There's a Celebration of Diversity calendar, and I'm sure you guys can share a link to that on your website. And that's the way that people can get involved, by knowing what these events are participating in them. We try to put those things out there so people have options, and we know people are busy. But we try to make sure that they have some things that they can do to reflect on the diversity that we have here at Murray State.
So it takes a lot of time and energy to put something like this together. How does your office and how do the students, put it all together?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have a relatively small staff. It's 2 of us and then an office assistant, but then we have some great students. And so between our Emerging Scholars Institute students, the Black Student Council, we work with SGA, we work with Regional Outreach, Student Life, Greek Life. So it's kind of like a community. All of these folks get together, and in addition to the events they're planning, assisting us with the programs that we're doing.
Yeah, that's great. So what's your favorite event that's going to take place?
Probably racial legacies and learning, because it gives us an opportunity to actually sit down and in a safe space talk about issues that are sometimes difficult to talk about relative to race and how we can move forward. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, so am I. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
The MSU Reading Series offers students, staff, and community members an opportunity to meet with authors of many different genres. The most recent visitor to the series was Adam Day, author of Model of a City in Civil War. Day has received numerous awards for his work, as well as top-notch reviews in several countries. Murray State's first reading series of the spring semester welcomed Adam Day for his work in the collection Model of a City in Civil War. Day read samples of poetry from the book and also surprised listeners with some of his newest pieces of work.
7 years. So whenever I do readings, I try to read like something from the book so people have an idea of whether or not they might actually want to buy it. Like for my own enjoyment, I tend to read newer work. And the work that I chose tonight, I really do choose shorter work when I'm doing readings because...
Seen throughout his pieces in Model of a City in Civil War, Day advocates for the importance of work written about real-world issues and controversies.
I think it's different for different people. I know a lot of people who write just for themselves and really, they're processing things. They're figuring things out, like how they feel about complicated situations. I think with published authors, it's the same, but often the issues are often like broader, right? So it might be more about, an historical event or about the environment or racism or whatever. But when it's all said and done, it's still a process of trying to figure something out.
In his personal poetry, Day endeavors to use words that evoke an image in the reader's mind.
I would just say that it's grittier, it's definitely like really interested in imagery, so that the reader can actually like see what's happening in their own head. And that's where like film comes in. When I hear a poem and I can't really see it in my head, it doesn't really do a lot for me.
As opposed to inspiration from other works of poetry, Day derives inspiration for his own work from other types of writing entirely.
Reading. So I read a lot of fiction, mostly not American, mostly like contemporary fiction and translation, but also a lot of film. Because film just does so much, at once. So that's more kind of where I get my ideas from, and stuff that's happening like in the world, which poetry doesn't have enough of.
Day is the recipient of a Poetry Society of America Chapbook Fellowship for Badge Apocrypha, a PEN Emerging Writers Award, and an Al Smith Fellowship from the Kentucky Arts Council. Considering his impressive background, Day leaves readers and aspiring writers with some advice.
Not to write about themselves. So, have you ever heard this catchphrase like, write what you know? It's terrible advice. I think the hardest thing to write about is yourself.
The Callaway County Humane Society and Murray State University Student Government Association join together every semester to give students the benefit of pet therapy. Not only does this relieve stress for the students, but it is also a great way to connect with the friendly four-legged pets. The Humane Society brings both cats and dogs to campus for the event, so if you're missing your furry friend who couldn't join you at college, make sure to check the Murray State calendar to see when the next Pet Therapy Day will be held.
Murray State College of Education and Human Services saw a need and are working to fill it. Girls Who Code is a new club created to introduce the field of computer technology to girls at a young age, with the intention of increasing the percentage of women in the technological workforce.
Well, I graduated from Murray State from the computer science department, computer science and math, and there weren't very many females with me in my major, but this is a problem across the country. And so the goal of this club is just to kind of get girls interested at a younger age, get them into computer science, get them thinking about it as a possible career for them. If you can get them in middle school age, just keep their options open, then they'll be more likely to keep it open in high school, and then maybe even go into it in college and have that career opportunity after college, because there are so many technology jobs that are available now, as everybody knows.
Girls Who Code was established just this year and met for the 4th week in a row on Murray State's campus. They use online software that incorporates hands-on activities for the girls to learn.
I would like to learn how to make my own video game and play it and make it public so other people can play it and I can beat them at it. She has a cardboard thing so you can just hold it up to your face and look around. And it actually looks like you're there, but animated wise.
The tiniest mistake, like miss put in letter, wrong thing here or there, can totally change the program.
The club is open to girls from 6th grade all the way up to seniors in high school. The purpose of Murray State reaching out to girls at a younger age is to expose girls to the computer science field even before they choose a field of study for college.
Encouraging and exciting to me.
Though the majority of members are currently girls, this club is open to both male and female middle and high schoolers.
That's all the time we have for today. If you missed a part of today's show, you can always check us out on the web at roundaboutu.com.
And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm Shelby Sisson.
And I'm Brianna Sill. Thanks for watching Roundabout U.